Basically, it was hell. I was living in a world of confusion inside of myself, upset, scared, frightened of every little thing, worried about every little thing, and just didn't know what to do. Didn't know who to talk to. I didn't have nobody there. I felt totally alone and isolated with anger, guilt, and frustration. I live to use and use to live. I sit there and worry about where the heck I was going to, get the money to pay this bill because I done sat there and took all my money and blew it up in drugs. What am I going to do now? And I would lay there and cry to myself, I truly was lost. But just for the day is a good topic for me because that's just where I'm at. Every day I wake up, just for the day, I ask my God to just give me the strength to carry on. To guide me in whatever I have to do today. What is it that He wants me to accomplish? Because if I leave it up to myself, it won't be anything. It's so easy for me to want to run and crawl underneath of a rock and be all right with that. But see, today is like, I'm alive. I'm not dead anymore. So it's like, I have to leave myself open and be responsible for myself and the things that I need to do to be productive, in the world today. Like I said, I'm not used to really sitting up here sharing about anything, about me. I'd rather be down here on the floor, getting all the strength and energy I need, to make it through. I'm tired right now. I know that, and it's like I'm ready to go back to sleep. But just for the day, I know I had something to do, and it's for a good cause. It's for me to get better with me. And maybe somewhere down the line to help somebody else look at the day is just one more day we got clean. One more day that we have a chance to do something worthwhile instead of just running and hiding that I'm so good at. I know I'm good at it. This is an experience for me being here. Because I'm so much afraid of taking chances, of leaving out of Philadelphia. There's nothing really there besides other recovering addicts that helped me get another day. Listening to them share the way, listening to them share their way of life, the way they changed their lives, knowing that I could make a change in mine. Oh goodness, I ask God to remove me so He can drive, and I'm just still nervous. Just for the day, I'm happy. I'm not really much of a people person, excuse me. But I can relax and be myself for a change. There's not a hassle, with trying to impress anybody, to make friends, like buy them or anything like that. Is that people accept me for who I am. And I'm a quiet person. And a lot of times I stay by myself. But it's okay. Just for the day, I'm all right with being by myself at times. It gives me time to commune with God, to my higher power, to find out where I gotta go today, what He wants me to do. Just for the day, I can smell the flowers. I can walk down by the lake and see the birds skimming. To a point where I remember I ain't never had time enough to look at that. I got an opportunity here to meet people from different parts of this world, and that's a blessing, to laugh and really be happy, because most of my life I've been miserable, afraid, living in total despair, I just feel real good today. I'm grateful that I'm alive, and nothing beats it, And it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for Narcotics Anonymous. I know it was a lot of times that I ran in and out those doors, like feeling unworthy to be here. Like I just didn't feel part of, but I do today. Because I gave myself a break. I gave myself a break and stopped worrying about what other people might think or do, to me, because that's a whole lot right there. It's like I was always afraid somebody was going to sit up here and try and use and abuse me, but see, it wouldn't have been possible if I ain't allow them to. And today it's like y'all taught me how to stand up for myself and not allow anything just to happen to me. They tell me you can stand for anything, but no, you can fall for anything, but stand up for something today. And today I'm standing up for myself, just for today, It's not a whole lot I can really say, I'm just grateful to be alive today. Today is the first day for the rest of my life, and I'm going to live it to the fullest. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Is Chris here?
Yep.
No, you're trying to walk on the wall.
No, I have not. But I tell you what I have done today. Today I just for today kind of thing. It's the first time it's ever happened to me, but I had to stay up all night. It wasn't because I chose to. It was because my fiance's baby was sick, and she had an ear infection, and she was crying. And I took that little baby, and we sat up in the lobby, and I rocked her all night long. And every time I tried to put her down, I thought she was asleep. She'd wake right back up, and that ear would be hurting again. I remember when I was a kid, people did that for me. My mom, she held me when I was a kid, rocked me all night long if I needed it. For once in my life, I had that opportunity to do that for somebody else. So no, I haven't brushed my teeth yet, but that's okay, because I can always do it after the workshop. And I haven't taken a shower yet either, and that's okay too. But don't clear the room yet. Don't clear the room yet, because I do wear deodorant just for today. But I tell you, if it hadn't been for this program, I don't think I'd have had that opportunity. I don't think that I would be here right now. Just for today, I put myself in a place where I have a good work environment. I have a good home life. And these are things that were all done as a process through this program. Because I didn't have this stuff when I came to Narcotics Anonymous. All I had was a pair of rusty old jeans and a torn up t-shirt. And I was a scared little kid. And I thought I had all the answers. Thought I knew it all. And I thought I could just figure this stuff out and do it my way. I had no clue what I was about to go through. These 12 steps that I started working on a daily basis just for today. were going to change my life. You know, no clue that the fact that the arrogant asshole that I was, since I had applied these steps into my life, these things were changing. I wasn't the asshole anymore. I became a happy person. You know, I was always happy. I'm always laughing. I'm always smiling. I'm always acting a fool, doing something to make somebody else laugh. You know, trying to share that. And these are just a few of the gifts that Narcotics Anonymous has given me. You read that just for today. It says, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations, people who are not using and who have found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear. My first convention was in Maryville, Indiana, back in '97. And I had an opportunity to go up in front of all those people and read that. And it was just like the coolest thing in the world, you know. I had like 30 some days clean. I was up on stage reading this pink card, and all these people were chanting my name, kind of. You know, I felt like a rock star or something on the stage, and it was like, you know, if there's that much power in this little card and me standing up here, just imagine what I could do if I stayed clean, you know. And it was really cool because I had an opportunity to go back to school, and I had an opportunity to show people that I wasn't as dumb as I looked. And I had people teach me, you know. And these were things that all happened one day at a time. You know. Just for today, I had that life experience, you know. I knew when I couldn't handle something, you know, I had to pass on the chips. And I guess what I mean by that is, you know, with that baby tonight, it's like I did everything I could before I had to wake up her mom, you know. I tried everything I could before I knew she had to have some type of medicine, some type of Tylenol, you know, or something for that ear. And, you know, and I didn't know how much to give the kid. I really didn't. And that was the only reason I woke her up, because if I'd have known, I probably would have done it myself, you know. You know, just for today, I feel pretty good about myself, having just woke up, you know. Looked at myself in the mirror, kind of rubbed my head and said, I'm ready to go, you know. and before I couldn't do that, you know, I couldn't smile at myself in the mirror. You know, I couldn't look at other people with my head up high. And, you know, I had some very caring and loving addicts who taught me how to love myself. Because, see, when I came into these rooms, they told me, keep coming back till you learn to love yourself, and we'll love you until then. And I didn't believe them. You know, I didn't understand that they were going to actually care about me. They were actually going to show me that they did love me. You know, even when I knew it all, even when all the chips were, you know, in my pile, and, you know, they still were able to teach me. You know, today I'm teachable. You know. I'm grateful for those addicts. And, I don't know. Kind of like you, I'm getting tired. You know, just trying to wake up. And man woke me up probably about 5 minutes before I was supposed to be here. He said, "Hey, you got that workshop at 10 o'clock." And I was like, "Whoa, what time is it?" Like 8 o'clock. You know. But I knew I had to do this workshop today, and I knew I was going to get something out of it. You know. When I got here, I was listening to you, and it was just like, yeah, you know, I'm doing this because they asked me. And I'm doing this because I'm going to get something out of it. You know. Just for today. That's right. And I don't know. I'm really grateful. Thank you guys for coming out. I'm sorry I'm late, but it's okay. And with that, I'll keep coming back.
Thanks, Chris. Before we open the floor for sharing, I need to remind everyone that we are being taped. If you wish not to be taped, please let us know. For that, the tape can be turned off. Floor is open for sharing. Anybody like to share can come up. Don't y'all bum rush me now. Once I call the names out, I will.
Hi, my name is Mark, and I'm an addict.
Hi, Mark.
I guess for me, I know the more I stay in today, the less crazy my thinking is, you know. And it's real short. You know, the more I stay in today, the less I can get caught up in all the regrets of the past, and there's steps to help deal with that. The more I stay in today, the more I can quit worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I get away from that sometimes. But I know I refocus and really focus on just today. There's just not as much shit running around up here. You know, there just isn't. You know, so that's all. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Next.
Hello, my name is Ross,
Hi, Ross.
and I'm a grateful recovering addict just for today. Just for today, I have a peace of mind. Just for today, I have spirituality. Just for today, I have you all in my life. Just for today, I'm clean. Just for today, I could say just for today. Just for today, I'm in the right state of mind. Just for today, I need you to tell me that you are right. I need a hug. Just for today. Just for today, I can breathe again instead of like the man in Harlem Nights. Remember that was in the safe? You remember? But I can blow it out today and be relieved and say, just for today. Just for today, I want to see a smile on your face. Just for today, I can have a smile on my face. Just for today, I can have a sense of humor, because I lost mine back in some days. Just for today, I feel good. Just for today. Just for today. Thank you. Let me
Good morning, everyone. My name is Len. I'm an addict. I enjoy coming to the workshops and enjoy listening to everybody. And it helps me to keep myself in focus, too. When I first come to this fellowship, I was trying to just maintain for a day. And I wasn't looking for anything long-term, and I wasn't looking for any real change of life. I was just kind of looking to get through that day because of what was happening in my life at the time. And I'll relay a little story. I had 16 days clean, and my daughter had a little baby girl born to her down in Tennessee. And the baby had hurt her in her birth. And so my daughter wasn't able to get out of bed for a while. And she needed somebody to come down there and take care of the other children and to help get her husband off to work and take care of the house and things, you know. And so I decided that I would go down there, and I asked my sponsor about it because I was a little worried. I only had 16 days clean at the time. And so he told me, he said, well, just take your book along with you and do some reading. And so I said, well, what do I read? And he said, well, there's a chapter in there called Just for Today. So he said, read that. And he said, hook up with some meetings when you get down there, find a fellowship, and just kind of settle in, you know, and be of help to your daughter. So I kind of got settled in with her, and my son-in-law helped me to get a hold of the helpline down there. And he took me to a meeting, and I told him he could just drop me off, that I was sure that somebody would be able to get me back to the house. And it was a real big meeting. It was in Nashville. It was called Moondoggies, and it's about a 300-member meeting down there. It's really big. And I went upstairs to the non-smoking session that they had going, and they had kind of a barefoot round table thing going there. Yeah, it's just sitting in chairs. There was about 50 of us there. And there was a young man, he had just got out of the penitentiary, and he'd been out for about 10 days, and he was having a really hard time staying clean. And he got up and he said, you know, I've been out of the penitentiary for 10 days. I can't stop thinking about using, and I don't want to use. I want to stay clean. Can somebody help me? So I just kind of settled back, and I thought, boy, I'm going to hear something really profound here. And I was really looking forward to hearing that. And nobody said nothing, absolutely nothing. And he put that same plea out again, and nobody said nothing. And about the third time, he got very angry. And he started screaming, he started hollering. He said, and if you people can't help me, he said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to use. And he said, I'm afraid I'm going to kill somebody or be killed because of it, you know. And I got scared, you know, because I knew that feeling. I was so toxic at the time that I was afraid if I wasn't around a safe environment and doing something on a regular basis to get me out of that I would die or maybe kill somebody else in the process too, you know. And nobody said anything, so I stood up and I said, I don't know if I should be saying anything. I only have 16 days clean. I said, but I come down here and my sponsor told me that there's a chapter called Just for Today in the basic text. And I had my basic text with me. I told the folks that I had read it on the way down on the plane, and I had read it again at my daughter's house. And I said, it pretty much explains just what to do on a daily basis, you know, to just kind of help you get through that next 24 hours that you're going to have to get through. And a young man come and sat with me afterwards, and I read him the chapter Just for Today, and that's been almost 11 years ago. And to this day, we still exchange cards at Christmas, and birthdays. I've been down to Tennessee for 3 or 4 Tennessee regional conventions. Been down and spent time with my daughters and grandchildren. And he'll either pick me up at the airport or meet me at a meeting or get a hold of me on the phone when I'm down there. And I was very grateful that I had that to share to him, you know. I'm really grateful to the people that was in this fellowship before I got here and seeing the importance of putting things into literature. You know, I learned from everybody at the workshops, at the tables, in different contact, just on a friendly socializing basis with everybody in the fellowship. But I needed something, some kind of direction, some kind of guidance that I could hold to and say, you know, this isn't just Mark's idea or just Linda's idea. This is a written form of directions for me to follow, you know. And I don't do everything every day, you know. I don't follow all the steps every day. I don't get up in the morning planning my next 24 hours, you know. But I have my basic text with me. I just retired, but I always had one at work in my desk, and one at home and one in the car. And I read them a lot, and I try to apply those principles to my life. And I'm grateful that it was put in print for me, that I can get a good foundation from that, you know, because I need guidance and I need direction, and I need it today. You know, different things come up in your recovery. You know, it's just like raising children or being in a marriage or something. You know, the process is always changing. You know, and I need that guidance. You know. Grateful to be here today. Nice to see everybody turn up. Thank you for letting me share.
Beautiful story. Beautiful story.
Hi, my name's Ellen. I'm an addict. Sitting there, I just was so compelled to come up here and to share this with you. Living in just for today sometimes is difficult. You know, we get caught up in thinking of our past, getting caught up in that, trying to relive it, or we get caught up in the future. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen the next day? What's going to happen next week? What's going to happen next month? And in early recovery, I heard this saying, and it is so true, that whatever happened yesterday, that's history. There's no change in the past. And what's going to happen tomorrow, we don't know. That's a mystery. All we have is God's gift today. That's why it's called the present. And that's where we must stay in, is in the present. Take that gift and live just for today. It's easier said than done. That's basically everything with the program sometimes. But that's all I have to say.
Hi everybody, I'm Jamie and I'm an addict. Hi, and you know, Ellen compelled to come up. It's like from the very beginning I'm like, I'm going to get up there and talk. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I feel like I got to go. And I know for me today, living in the minute is so much easier. You know, I don't know if it's just a gift of having some time and some time to hash out all of my history, working some steps to hash out all the history, or what. But today I really have a peace of mind, and it's no longer hard to stay in today. It just seems natural to stay right here with what I'm doing. You know, I love that yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. Mm-hmm. I have no guarantee of tomorrow. All I have is right here, right now, where I'm at. And for me, it's not only staying in today, it's staying in right here. You know, I'm not worried right now about what's going on back home. I'm not worried about my job. I'm not worried about whether my house is burning down, whether my cats are fed or tearing up the house. I'm not worried about all that stuff because it's not here. You know, so living in today, for me, isn't just about today. It's about right here and right now, what's right in front of me. And, you know, I know so many times in the past I'd be sitting talking to somebody and not even hearing what they were saying, you know, thinking about what I was talking about with somebody earlier. Oh, I got to go get this person. And today I just am taking it as it comes. You know, I had an opportunity to bring somebody out, and, you know, there's a part of me that's like, oh, I don't want a hassle of having to go pick somebody up. And, you know, I just want to pack my car and go. But, you know, that opportunity came into my life, and I'm learning today that when something comes in, to take it and go with it. And I had a great ride out, an enjoyable time, got to know this person a lot better. You know, and if I would have listened to my self-centered, I don't want to share, I just want to be about me and what's comfortable and easy for me, I wouldn't have had that gift. And I'm learning to just take everything right as it comes. You know, even there have been a couple times this weekend, a lot of the people who were here with me last year aren't here this year. And I have my son with me this year, so I'm spending a lot of time with him. And so I'm not out partying and doing the whole late night drum thing and karaoke. And there's a part of me that thinks, you know, oh, wouldn't it be great if you could do that? But what I'm doing instead is I'm sitting playing cards with the kids last night. I'm spending some time in my cabin reading with my son, playing with his friends. And I'm enjoying what is instead of regretting what is not. Mm-hmm. And that's a great place to be. And I know that that's a gift of listening to you people and listening to my God and knowing that everything that I need is going to be here. I'm going to have everything I need, and I'm going to enjoy exactly where I am. And it's about a choice for me today about what I really want, and what I really want is to be happy. I just want to be happy, and so I am happy with exactly what I have right here in front of me. And I've heard so many addicts talking this weekend about, you know, one addict was saying, oh, that touch and be touched thing, you know, I was molested when I was a kid, and I can't let go of that, or you know, it's so hard for me to deal with this, and how do you just stay clean, and all these questions, and you know, sometimes I wish I could just download what I have, but I know that I had to struggle through all that stuff, and I know that they're going to grow through that struggle, and I know for me today it's just being happy with exactly where I'm at, and I'm not perfect, life isn't exactly the way I'd, you know, envision it to be, but I'm working towards that goal, and I can do just what I have right in front of me today to get one more step closer to being in touch with my God, and sharing what I've learned with that person who doesn't know how yet to do something in recovery, and listening to my sponsor to learn what I don't know how to do yet in my recovery. And I'm just really glad to be here and seeing some old friends. You know, I don't get some of these guys I see once a year, twice a year, and you know, just to see the face, it's amazing to me how it's just like, wow, there they are, you know, and it's like you just saw them yesterday, and that's a gift. And I can do that, and I can see that because I'm just right here, right now, and I'm not thinking about what could be or the people who aren't here. It's the people who are here, the things that are right here in my life right now, and enjoying that gift. I really like that. That's all I got.
Hi family, my name is Bob. I'm a grateful recovering addict.
Hi Bob.
And I'm glad to be here today. Glad that we have the ability to sit in this room and enjoy the fellowship. And just for today, I can get caught up in tomorrow real easily. And it's just a reminder for me, you know, that my higher power is in charge, because as soon as I get out of today, I get into that chaos. And it's real easy to get caught up in that, and then he just slaps me and I go right back to today. So I'm grateful to be here, glad that everybody can just relax and enjoy themselves. You know, my sponsors up there in Michigan, and wishing that we have a good time down here. The reminder that I have to stay in just for today. You know, I can get caught up thinking about tomorrow and all the things that have to be done. But if I don't stay in just for today, you know, nothing goes right. You know, I have to get up in the morning, I have to thank my higher power for today, and not dwell on what happened in the past. You know, my story, I can take your face and put my name on it, you know, and all of our stories are basically the same. I started using it at an early age because I wanted to cover up and run from those feelings. And today I have to own up to that stuff, but I don't have to dwell on it. You know, I have to focus on what's going good in my life. And I can lose track of that real easily and get caught up in that pity party, but, you know, if I stay focused and think about what's going good in my life, like today, you know, I mean, what more could I ask for? This is just, it's what the fellowship's all about. Just coming and sitting around a bunch of recovering addicts who know what we're going through because they've either experienced it and have gone through it, or they're getting ready to go through it. You know, like the young lady said, I'd like to be able to download what I've learned and give it away. But, you know, when you first come here, you're on that roller coaster, and we all have to experience that. You know, you're up here today and down there tomorrow, and it seems to me, and this is just this addict's experience, is that the longer I stay around here, the shorter those hills become. And if I stay focused on today, it's a rather uneventful ride. You know, I can get on that roller coaster if I choose to, and I can go as high as I want and come down as low as I want. But as long as I stay focused on my higher power and what he wants me to do, you know, that ride is pretty uneventful. There's no tunnels, you know. It doesn't tip over as often as it used to, and I don't fall out, you know, as long as I stay focused. You know, I can become that self-centered, egotistical son of a bitch whenever I want. You know, I've learned that around here. You know, I have some other responsibilities outside the fellowship. I'm vice president of a rather large motorcycle club in the city of Detroit. And at one time, you know, I got on that pity pot, and I thought, you know, I really shouldn't be around those people. You know, I hear around the fellowship that you got to get rid of your old friends and old playmates, or otherwise you're going to go back to using. And you know, you hear all these cliches around here, and they start going in your head like a ping pong ball, you know, boom, boom, boom. And when that usually happens, I call my sponsor because I'm trying to crawl out of my skin, and he said, let's go get a cup of coffee and talk about it. And I said, look, I'm considering quitting the club because, you know, the atmosphere down there is not conducive to recovery. You know, there's a lot of riffraff down there. There's a lot of alcohol, a lot of dope and gambling and women and all that kind of stuff that we used to associate with. And we're drinking our coffee, and he's thinking, he's not saying anything as usual. And then the wisdom comes out. He says, Bob, you're working a good program. Yeah. He says, what if a year from now or 2 years from now, one of your club brothers wants to come to a meeting and you're not there to show them how successful this program really is? You know, poor me, I'm thinking about this self-centered, egotistical son of a bitch that you guys are looking at. I'm not thinking about the 12th step, you know. I'm thinking about poor me. I'm on that pity pot. So, as things usually are, I'm 180 degrees off of the right decision. And thank God I asked my sponsor, because that's what I'm supposed to do. And I stayed associated with the club, and in the last year and a half, 3 of those guys have come to meetings with me. And, you know, they don't come on a regular basis, but when they do, you know, they share honestly. And I hope that when they get to the point where I was, and they're ready to accept the help, that they'll know where to go. When I first came around here, I was very resentful of people who were court-ordered here because I thought they were just taking up space, you know, that could be used by someone who really had the true desire to get the spiritual nature of the program. And it bothered me for a while, and I talked to my sponsor about that, and he said, no, you're 180 degrees off again, you know. He said, the court knows that they're not going to get this, that some of these people are going to resist this because they are court-ordered. He said, but when they are ready, if they ever get to that point, they'll know where to go and it'll be much easier for them. And that made sense to me. And that's why I call my sponsor today, because I don't have the answers. You know, I still have plenty of questions, and with his help and your help, I'll make it to midnight and we'll start all over again. Thanks.
It's sharing time. Come on, Vicky. Come share. Told y'all I was gonna call you by name.
Oh, Vicky. It's your baby.
Maria, you're on. Everybody point to her. Good, good.
I'm a recovering addict. My name is Maria. Gee, my voice not even woke yet. Just for today, I'm real grateful. Like she said, I'm real grateful to be clean. I'm real grateful to have a God in my life. That when I can wake up in the morning and turn around and see that I'm not at home, that it's still okay. You know, I'm grateful for my two friends that brought me here 3 years ago. And with all the confusion and things going on in my life, they brought me out here someplace that I could just chill. And for that, I'm real grateful. And just for the day, I try to pass that along. And I was just sitting there thinking that sometimes, you know, everybody's not ready for this. You know, the wilderness, the serenity. And I think back to my early recovery. This would have been too damn calm for me. You know, ain't nobody fighting. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only one cussing shit. You know, that's not fun. You know? But just for the day, after staying around here a little while, it's getting a whole lot better. And it's like, it's just nice to wake up and look around being somewhere different. And somebody said it, the young lady here, because I was sitting back there thinking, dang, back to work tomorrow. You know, yes, I can't stay into the day real good. So I guess this topic and me being here, really wanting to be in the bed, is God in the mix again. Because it's hard for me to stay in just for the day. I left and went to the store in town yesterday. I'm sitting there talking about, oh my God, it's cat food. I wonder if the cat, like if he don't have none, what can I do right now? You know? Or my daughter, I wonder, she liked this flavored water. I'm like, there ain't nobody here but me. My household is still in my household. So sometimes it's real hard. It's easier said than done. Like she's saying, one thing I notice about addicts, we like to sit and say, we do this, and tell everybody else, all you got to do is do it like this. And it's not that simple. Staying in today is not real easy, especially if you got a job and some babies to get back to. You know, it's like, it's just not, and somebody else said I have to stay just right where I'm at right now. Right now, because only way I'm going to stay is right now and just for the day. If I walk around the rest of the day saying just for the day, just for the day, just for the day, just for the day. You know, but I knew just for the day that I do have a program, and I know just for the day I do have people in my life that show me how to live this life without using drugs and alcohol. And this trip started off real chaotic in the beginning. I was like a bunch of females in a minivan. Oh, buddy, here we go. You see, because I'm still real self-centered, selfish addicts. I wanted to keep the peace and serenity of this convention to myself and to the two people that brought me here. And we went to talk about inviting other people. I was like, shit. You know, they gonna bring some chaos. But let me check this out. I'm the one that had the chaos going. Let me say that right quick. Okay? Because I want people to see things and perceive things and take all this in just the way I do. Hell no, there's no bathroom in the cabinet. Just get ready. You know, and you a newcomer, you don't know. You don't appreciate this kind of shit. So as a result, my first day was really screwed up. I went to bed, I got with God that night, and I was like, God, okay, I'm sorry, you in charge. I forgot again. Help me. I'm quick to holler help, you know. Help fix this up and let me get through the rest of this program, this retreat, like what I came here for. And it's really just some peace and some serenity, because I don't have a whole lot of that in my life, because I'm still a chaotic person. A lot of times I'm not familiar with the peace and serenity because I haven't had it for so many years. When I get it, I think something's wrong. It's too damn quiet. You know what's getting ready to happen. Instead of just enjoying it and going for the ride, I don't know how to do that a lot of times. So I'll be looking for something else to happen. If it don't, I'll make something happen. You know, I'm going to make something happen, because that's just the way I am. I'm not a perfect addict. I'm not one of them real. And to be honest, I wait all year to come here to get my spirituality intact. Because I'm just not one of them highly spitual, do-gooder type ass addicts. For real, you know what I'm saying? Well, they said do it this way, and you do this, and God removes some of these defects, and da-da-da-da-da, and then I go right back and pick it up because I wasn't ready. And, you know, trying to be this perfect thing, and I was real messed up as a result. And I had to keep going back to the book where God tells me we won't be perfect. And I don't know how to find that equal medium. He said, okay, you're right, you're not going to be perfect. So then I really fuck up stuff. So it's like that real good, trying to be real good or real bad. And it's a shame to say that I have to wait till once a year to come here, really to get with my God. Because when I come here, it's like the TVs, the hype of the gator alligator shoes and the silk suits and stuff, it's not happening. And I like that. I like to be out here because I really feel right here, it's like with just the trees and the water, all the elements of what God just really put here for me to enjoy is right here. It's just right here. You know, so I be hating that I messed up one day acting a fool. Now I feel like I missed something. You know, I missed one day where it could have been real cool, but just for the day, I'm going to take this one. I'm not going back to bed. I just need to get up here and do what I do best, run my mouth. You know, and just for the day, I'm grateful to see all the people that I seen last time I was here, and you know, and not to have a voice this morning because I was trying to sing some stuff last night. Don't know the words to nothing still. My daughter always tell me, Mom, you don't never know the word, you just sing. Make up some stuff, you know. But I'm real grateful. I love it out here, y'all, and I'm gonna keep coming back. Thanks for letting me share. Thanks. We love you, kid. We love you. We love you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mark. I'm an addict. Hi, Mark. You know, sometimes it's real hard for me to stay in today, you know. There's just things that I think about from in the past. Just on the way up here, we passed a place that I was in, you know. And I thought, you know, I was thinking about that kind of stuff, you know. And for a moment, I thought about that place and where I was on the way up here. You know, and that's been years now, you know. But the memories came back. You know, but that's good for me because I got to remember who I was. You know, sometimes I can't forget who I was and the type of person I was back then, and I don't want to go back there. You know, today. Just for today, I want to be a normal addict. You know what that is? I don't know what that is, but I just want to be your average addict. You know what I mean? You know, it's, you know, I'm no better, no better less than anybody else. What I did is no worse than anybody else, you know. Just for today, I know that, you know. I'm up here with my sponsor, and I'm staying with them. I work with them. So, you know, I get fed shit all day long from them. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's, you know, and we've been tight for years, you know. You know, there's things I regret, you know, like my father-in-law's funeral, my ex-father-in-law's funeral. I didn't go because of the people I might see there, you know, and the people I might remember, you know. But, you know, I sometimes it is hard for me to live in today, but I know if I don't, I'm gonna fuck everything up. Excuse my language. You know that? I know that I'm gonna start all. It's just gonna do all things. But you know, today I have to live just for today. I have to do the things that I have to do. You know what I mean? And I said I didn't want to come up here. You know, I'm here. My higher power got me here. And some things got to come out of my life, and some things don't. You know. I tried for many years before I really got here. Since '79, you know. And I've had a brother die, you know, and it just went on and on and on, you know, and I've seen things happen. Until '93, something happened to me, and I stayed clean since '93. Why, I don't know. So I started living just a little bit of this. And that's all I could do is live a little bit of this every day. Take a little bit out of that text, take a little bit from what everybody has to say up here, you know. But every once in a while, those memories creep back. But sometimes I think that's a good thing for me. For I won't forget where I came from, and who I was, and what I was. So I don't ever want to forget that, you know. Because if I forget that, then I know that I might go back up there and use again. You know, and, you know, sometimes it's real hard to work with your sponsor and be up here for the whole weekend, you know. But it's a good thing, you know. And that's what I'm just doing what I got to do. I'm just living for today. You know, and I just found out Friday I have this disease, this liver disease, you know. But I can't worry about it. You know, and I could get all upset and say, fuck it, you know, but I know that there's nothing I can do about it. It happened. You know. So, just going to live for today. Whatever tomorrow brings me, it brings me. You know, and that's all I got. Thanks.
Thanks,
I'm Nick. My name's Ross. I hate that thing. No, because I need to get over it. Did I already introduce myself? Good. Okay, good. See, I forget myself. I was sitting there listening and reminded that once again I'm not alone, and how important it is for me to not only share but also to listen, and because I have a hard time sometimes living in today, and then sometimes I can be right where I'm at and be okay with that, and I was reminded of what somebody told me a long time ago, you know, that I needed to learn how to appreciate both the good and the bad in every day. And I remember the first time I ever heard that, how shocked I was. I thought, you got to be kidding me, you know, I'm not going to appreciate those bad things that happened to me, and I could never imagine being in a place that I could be grateful for anything that I felt was negative in my life. And what I learned was eventually, through coming to acceptance with that, is that now I have the ability to share my experience, my strength, and my hope with people that are having a hard time getting through things. And so I've learned to appreciate those negative things in my life. And I was thinking about, earlier this week, somebody was talking about living in the day, and most of the time I do a pretty good job with that, but a lot of times I get my head down and running, and I'm not paying much attention to what I'm doing or where I'm going, and I hit a wall and kind of get woke up. And for me, it's important today to examine my past, plan for my future, but learn how to live in the moment. And because I spent a lot of time with my head down running, not planning on where I'm going, or not paying attention to what I did that was wrong before, and the moment kept getting worse. And what I've learned, through the process of recovery is that as I learn to appreciate the positive and negative in my life, more positive things start to happen, because I'm able to learn from my past and try to do something different tomorrow, and focusing on where I'm at. But that's all I really wanted to share. Thanks.
Thanks, Rob.
I'm Kim, and I'm an addict.
Hey, Kim.
And when I woke up this morning, I rolled over and I decided, I'm not going to breakfast. I'm not getting up. I'm going to sleep all day. I'm not doing anything. And I wanted to isolate, and here with all these people. These people, I love this place, and I love the people that come here. But my head was saying, let's just stay in bed, And then on the other side, how we have the good and the bad here. The other side said, you need to get up, because that's what the program's taught you to do. You need to get out, you need to fellowship, you need to go get some hugs, you need to talk to people. So I made myself get up. I made myself go down to the cafeteria. I got 10 hugs while I was down there, drank a little coffee, and I'm grateful that I got out of bed. I'm grateful that I listened to the good side and not the bad side. And just for today, I have days where I can stay in today. And sometimes I have to stay in the hour, and sometimes I have to stay in the minute. Because if I go any further than that, I just can't. And my sponsor's real good at reminding me to just breathe. Just breathe and go on. And I am really grateful to be clean, and that I'm really grateful that I have learned some tools in this program to where, unfortunately, I don't follow them every day exactly like I should. But when I have moments, I have to remember to be grateful for those moments. And I'm just grateful to be clean today, and grateful you were all here. Thanks.
Get your ass up there. Get over here.
Thanks for reminding us.
Just for today, come on.
Just
for today, you can do
You
it.
get here, Ricky. Give us some of that good recovery. Give us some of that good recovery.
Hi, I'm an addict named Vicky. Just for today, I'm whipped. Every day. Man, I'm so mellow out here. Just for today, I am truly grateful. We were talking the other day about coming to Camp Mac, and it's like you stay on this like spiritual high for about 6 months, and then the next 6 months, it's like all you can think about is coming back here, And you know, and I don't mind going out of today if I know that I'm going to somewhere like this, you know. Yeah, and, you know, like the book says, nobody says that recovery is easy. Living just for today is probably, you know, besides not using, is probably the hardest thing for me to do. It's been the hardest thing for me to do, you know, because I don't know. Early in my recovery, the guy I was living with kept saying, you know, if you have 1 foot in yesterday and 1 foot in tomorrow, you're shitting on today. You know, so I practice living in today, living just for today, doing things just for today, trying to be the best I could be today. You know, and it works. You know, it works just like the rest of the program. If you practice it, you know, if you practice it, it works. I'm like so mellow here, you know. I'm just in the ozone somewhere. I don't know. You know, I really came here to listen to people. You know, I talk a lot all day, every day, and I really came here to listen to people and just soak in the peacefulness. You know, somebody was saying something a little while ago about I'm losing it. Someone was saying something a little while ago about the roller coaster ride, Bob. You know, and I found myself most days on that uneventful ride. You know, and I used to be like Maria. I used to be like, why is everything going so smooth? What's gonna happen? You know, and almost dreading whatever it is out there that was going to happen, you know, and today I try not to worry about what's going to happen, you know, because when whatever's going to happen in any given day is going to happen, you know, and as long as I try to keep focused on doing the right thing for the right reason, you know, I don't put myself in harmful situations most of the time. You know, driving down the freeway is a harmful situation, you know, and or can be, but you know, as far as like going to dope houses, going to bars, that kind of thing, you know, I don't do it. And you know, I try not to worry about what's going to happen. You know, the last few months have been a little stressful, you know, because of things from a couple years ago. And I ended up owing the government a lot of money, and I couldn't get a loan to pay my taxes. So, you know, I've been a little bit stressed about you know, what's going to happen, and, you know, I sent in my taxes and hadn't heard anything. Well, the other day they cashed my checks. So, you know, the feds and the state, and you know, for like a month before tax day, I was just totally stressing. You know, just, you know, not all day, every day, but, you know, it's like, I don't want to do my taxes. I procrastinate until, you know, the 16th of April, and then I did them, and the 17th I, you know, mailed them. You know, and you know, a couple weeks before that, I kind of figured roughly what I owed and what have you. And, you know, after I sent my taxes in, I couldn't pay them. I have to make installments. But anyways, you know, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to stress about this anymore, you know, because I kept thinking, well, you know, when are they going to cash my check? You know, like every once in a while, I'd look at my bank statement, and I'm like, well, they didn't cash my check. This was like a month later, you know, like 2 weeks ago, actually. And, you know, I kind of hadn't thought about it, but kind of had, you know, and I thought, you know what? I've done what I could. You know, I did what I could. I did it right. You know, so I'm not going to stress over it. You know, and you know, I would say mostly, I work so many hours that mostly every day I'm just tired. And, you know, that just kind of mostly every day is just there. It's just mostly, you know, things are all right. But like I say, you know, when you have those little stressful moments about what's going to happen and all that, it's not good. I don't deal with stress real well, you know. I don't deal with stress real well. I don't get bad. I don't get mad. I get really goofy. You know, I get really goofy. And if I'm just, you know, like here, I'm not really that goofy because I'm not really that stressed. You know, and if a couple years ago, people used to ask me, oh, how come you're so goofy? And they knew I was just stressed out. I mean, everything was like a silly moment, you know? And like I said, it was my way of dealing with stress. It was just being silly, man. I mean, there were times when I was just a like crazed, goofy, silly person, and you know, and it's better than going off on people. It's better than, you know, beating up on other people and beating up on myself. You know, and I've kind of learned how to do that over the years. I don't know, just for today, I am so grateful to be here and to have people that are in the same boat, that all we want is some peace in our lives. You know, to come here and everybody just gets along, you know. I mean, we come from all walks of life. Doesn't, you know, like the book said, it doesn't matter what race, religion, color, creed, it doesn't matter. Sexual orientation, we just all get along. And to be somewhere where we don't have to dress up to impress somebody, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, I was telling this girl that came with us the other day, I said, we could run around here naked and nobody would care, you know. It's like, but you don't want to, but you don't need to dress up. But you don't need to dress up, you know. You know, people would care, but in a different way. It wouldn't be like, ooh, that shameful thing, you know. You know, not like if you go to a regular convention somewhere else, you know. It's like, this is just a most awesome experience, and you know, I'm just grateful to be here. Thanks. My voice is shot.
Anybody else like to share? Not, you'll wrap it up.